Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another thread discussion video, and today we'll be talking about this thread right here with the title, I have no control over my vassals, the oligarchy. There it is. So we're going to go over this, the main post, and then we have some dev replies over here on future changes that are being worked on, so very exciting to see, and we're going to go from there. I'm going to give my opinions in between, and let's get right into it. And like always, I'm gonna link this down below if you guys want to go check it out for yourself. There's a couple pages of player responses if you want to go see it for yourself, but I do want to see what the devs have to say. Alrighty, so the main poster. So in one of my campaigns, I decided to overthrow Urkhanate and become Khan myself after capturing Kazay capital Chikland. Chikand? I always said Chikland. I didn't take any more fiefs for myself and split the rest of the conquered fiefs justly with my vassals. Nice. Each of my vassals was controlling a city and a castle, but when I became the Khan and took over the Khazates, my vassals' influence increased rapidly while mine was too low. My vassals then started a poll to start war with the Southern Empire. They all voted to go to war, but I couldn't override it because my influence was too low for it. They created an army and took Saroni. I can't pronounce any of these names, and I don't want to hear a word from you guys about how this is pronounced. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear it. I wanted to give the city to an imperial and Korean. This guy's out here writing a story. Again, they all voted for a Kazay warlord, and I couldn't override it because my influence is too low for it. Basically, my Khanate, I think that's how you say it, is now an oligarchy. Nobles decide everything, and I became their puppet. It's usually how it goes. But in a way, I like that. Because if you do not use your influence wisely, and if you decide to be very frugal and give the power of owning all this to your vassals, what's it called? They in turn will kind of, take that power for granted, and then you don't have a vote, and they have more of a vote because they can stick together, and then you're just out for yourself. Which I think is a kind of a cool concept, you know what I mean? Like, you can either take all the stuff, and some of your clan members might hate you for it, or you can be very nice, and then you can get stomped on. That's tough, but it is what it is. All right, I want each of my vassals to maintain and rule a territory, but Bannerlord mechanics doesn't let doing this. So I guess want to maintain and rule a territory. I think he wants like maybe what he's looking for is like a vassal system, maybe like CK3 or something like that. But it is kind of different in Bannerlord. But all right, fiefs in the Khanate are shared like this. So this is me. He only has 2. Oh man, you're more nicer than me, to be honest with you. What I usually do in my playthroughs is I'll give myself like a good 2-3 towns, usually 2, and like 3-4 castles. And then based on how big the clans are, so let's say one clan has 5 roaming parties, I'm going to give them more fiefs than, let's say, the ones with 2 roaming parties and stuff like that. But everyone in my kingdom does own something. But yeah, this is very, this is very frugal. This kind of reminds me of, like him being kind of nice with it and then kind of getting overthrown by the nobles. It kind of like, if you watch like some Roman history and stuff like that, I don't know it perfectly to a T, but even if you are like the Roman emperor, you have a lot of power, definitely, right? You have a lot of like, just by holding that name of the emperor, right? But there are like the Senate or whatever they were called, and some of those guys had immense wealth and immense like property and immense like armies. They had enough army to really overthrow the emperor if they wanted to, but they never decided to do that. They just held power as the Senate, and a lot of times they, voted for stuff and kind of, grouped up together and in a way made sure the emperor really didn't have much of a say, as you do right now. That's tough. It is what it is, though. As you can see here, while I tried to split the fiefs justly, I accidentally created an oligarchy. All right, so okay, so I feel like he was gonna make it more into a problem, but low key, this just sounds like a feature. You know what I mean? But I can see why he wanted a certain playstyle. So I guess okay, cool. Let's see what the devs have to say about it though. Alrighty, so here's the developer. We will start working on this issue next week. Probably will see this feature after mid-February. I'll post this thread to Office Communications channel so design team will see what you posted. Please add which options you want to have over your clan parties and kingdom parties when king. We will examine all ideas and try to come up with a solution by selecting one of them. Boom. So obviously a lot of people were wondering if there's going to be any more big features, kind of like rebellions that are going to be added. And this looks like a thing that they are working on now, which is giving you as the ruler options on how to control clans and stuff of that nature, which I think is great. And also if you're a clan leader, as you can see right here, how you can control your clan, which is amazing. It is very needed. We've talked about it, and it's another big feature that's being added. And like I said, we're getting really close to having, a very complete game. Obviously, with some features that people want, like feasts and stuff like that, that's still not there, but that can be added. But the main important stuff, like I said before, alliances, diplomacy, and like this control factor, like right over here, once we get all this done, it's pretty finished, you know what I mean? And it's pretty good, and you can really make a lot of good stories and a lot of good gameplay out of it if you have these major things added. But alright, for example, as clan leader, I want to be able to limit parties' recruitment at X, stop recruiting when reached X men, okay? I want to prioritize which troop types my party will recruit, infantry, archers, or cavalry, so you can tell them what to recruit, what kind of army you want them to compose of. I want to change aggressiveness of my party so they will always defend or always attack. Amazing. So they don't actually, overreach and then get caught. I want parties to not join armies led by other lords. Another big one. Obviously I want them to join my army instead of the other lords. Cool. And then these, by the way, all these are examples. You know what I mean? He states that he wants feedback of what people do want, but these are just the examples he has currently, right? As king, I want to prioritize a target settlement for hostile action. Cool. Like to raid, I guess, and to kind of just like go around there, maybe take out the villagers. Cool. I want to prioritize a settlement to defend. Again, cool. So if a lot of stuff is getting raided there, you can tell your clans to be like, hey, go defend this area. Dev continues, if you add what you want to see as a list shown an example, it can be better, but all formats are okay, of course. Boom. So he's just looking for input from other people. And I think very good. Very good to see. I think this is a great feature. I think it's much needed. And it's good to see that they are going to be working on it next. And like I stated, we're getting very close to a very complete game. It might not seem that way, but there's a lot of these major features being added now. As they stated they were going to add them once they were done with the whole performance, and people didn't believe them, but here it is, as was said. But alrighty, player, I guess, has a question or a statement. This will have problems inherit to the overpowered nature of cavalry on the campaign map, not in live battles where cavalry may arguably be underperforming. Given cavalry costs no additional resources to maintain or for the AI to recruit, as they don't consume horses, the only optimal choice is to prioritize cavalry. Oh, so he's stating like that. He's saying that this option of prioritizing which troop types the party will recruit is almost always going to be cavalry. While I disagree, in terms of power, I guess it does make sense, right? I would sometimes prioritize archers as well, and sometimes prioritize infantry. But since auto calculation plays a big role in a lot of these AI battles, cavalry does have the advantage, so I get his point. And then Dev responds, these are only basic examples. We will think about their details, and if we cannot solve this problem, we will not apply. There it is. Also, another thing that I've talked about previously, and I think holds some merit, and I think it could possibly be done after thinking about it more. I think here's the thing. So obviously AI currently has no requirement, like a horse requirement to change a troop from infantry to a horseman. They don't have that requirement of like, hey, you need a horse to change this, soldier into a horseman. They don't have that. Now, I think since troops require you to have some type of food in your inventory, I think it only makes sense that you need to maintain something like grain for your horses, or for your for your horses, for your cows, for your sheep, for everything you have in your inventory. I think you need to maintain grain or something like that they will use every single day. Maybe not as fast as troops use food, just to keep it balanced, but I think that'll make a lot of sense. I think you have the infrastructure for it in the game, because there's plenty of grain producing villages, plenty of them. And also, what I would add, if this does ruin the economy a little bit, the same way they added like cow, sheep, and hog production in all the grain villages, they can add grain production in all other villages around the map, just like a smaller amount of production of it. It makes sense, I feel like most farms should have grain to it, or should have some form of grain production, whether it's prioritized or just a small amount. But I think it won't balance horses fully, it won't balance cavalry troops fully, but I think it does make sense. And I think it's not going too far to kind of just, if you have a lot of horses, if you want to take advantage of all the extra inventory space, all the advantage of the extra strength of horses in battles, you have to maintain them, you have to feed them. I just think it makes sense, but that might just be me. All right, another player, no, I think it's the same player, responds, I understand what you meant. My point is that it's always best to prioritize cavalry for all your clan armies, because cavalry is better in auto-calculation. Yep, which is what most AI battles take place in, unless you join it. And grants movement advantage on the map with no downsides. For all contexts except when your AI clan fights in live simulated battles with you. Exactly like I just said. In which case, the advantage or disadvantage of cavalry becomes more subjective or tactic specific. All right, so if you guys didn't know, if you don't join the battle with your companions or with your other clans, their battle doesn't actually like take place like the same way that your battle would take place. Like they don't get spawned into a map and actually fight it out. It's an auto calculation, same way as you would same as if you were to press send troops. That's how most AI battles are taking place. And the thing about cavalry bonus in battles, especially auto calculation battles, is like I think a flat 20%. So if you have more cavalry, it's like a flat 20% chance that you're gonna win that. You know what I mean? In terms of like your strength. So that's kind of what he means by that. So therefore, if you want more of your AI to win these auto calculation battles, you would always prioritize cavalry, because they're the strongest, right? Alrighty, developer responds, yes, if this is added, it will force players to choose prioritize cavalry always. It is just an example. We need to go overall and think about pros and cons. First, we should collect which abilities players want to have. Then we can discuss one by one. There it is. Again, I think the grain having, I know it's kind of like, I guess, like a new concept. It wasn't in Warband. 100% it wasn't in Warband. But maybe it was, no, it was not. I don't think it was. But yeah, I think it makes total sense. I think the infrastructure is there. I think the economy is there for it. It doesn't have to be as drastic as how troops eat food, but it would add a little of an expense to obviously a unit that is very powerful and should probably have more expenses to it. But that's just my 2 cents on it. I think that will do it for this. Hopefully you guys learned something. Ask me any questions, any concerns, and like always, stay safe.